But when I joined, it was a completely new product altogether, which was Ola Cars. Yeah. That was very revolutionary concept that we were directly going to customers.
In fact, like a lot of your journey seems like you were doing product marketing, which is now, like a very important career and a very important position that most companies, even startups, are looking to, hire for. So moving into like an organization as large as Ola, it would be awesome to understand your transition, from startups to being part of something like an Ola and being a team lead there. So I'm sure there are lots of anecdotes and, lots of fun stories you can share with us about being there.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I joined Ola, I was part of a team where again I was the second member of that team, which was getting formed.
Okay, wow.
Now, that team itself, like, I mean, once you join Ola, you would expect, okay, people would be working either on the Ola cabs or Ola Electric. Those are the two big names that are there.
Yeah.
But when I joined, it was a completely new product altogether, which was Ola Cars. At that time, they were thinking of launching Ola Cars, which is something similar to your Cars 24 and Spinny,
Okay.
wherein it's a used car marketplace. You buy and sell those cars. So when I joined, it was again almost like everything was in chaos, and we had to put everything in order. It's so I never felt detached from the that startup feel altogether. It was there, and it
Yeah.
still is there. With Ola, you get the startup feel there. Everything is like I mean, we experiment a lot, we fail, we quickly rebound, and that kind of environment is there. So I didn't feel that, okay, there is a cultural shock altogether. There wasn't. So we started hands on the deck. We thought like, and we had a deadline of like 45 days from the joining, my joining date, we had to launch the MVP.
Wow.
So that was something like a very difficult to even think about, like how can you
Yeah.
launch a platform altogether as big as that, an e-commerce platform. And it's not any company who's launching that, we cannot afford to make a mistake. Like
Yeah.
customer experience is of the paramount importance to all us. So we spent a lot of hours understanding how the ecosystem works, how the customers behave in the different functions, how the transaction takes place, what are the legalities of it, why somebody would buy from us. So all those things, the entire product life cycle. So if you think about a product manager's life, it is a central figure which has to talk to all the departments and all the function, and it has
Right.
to understand their languages, it has to understand their concerns and pains, and bring that knowledge to build to input in the product itself. So it's like I mean, you are one brain and you are attached to 10 nodes, and everybody is sending some data, and you are responding to them, and at the same time you need to think about users, you need to think about company competition, and everything was going. So product manage, that's why they call product manager's job like you are literally CEO of the product. In that phase, we have to prioritize something. So that's what, again, a very important skill for a product manager. You prioritize what are the battles that you want to fight. What are the most important things that your customers would expect from you? And that's the MVP. And what is it that is still valuable to them, and you can give it in time. So that's what we focus for. When you buy a scooter or say any product in a physical scenario, there are a lot of things that happen which you don't even know, like they happen in the background, like because somebody else is taking care of on your behalf. When you move that to a digital journey, it's a completely different game altogether. Right.
Yeah.
So you are not there physically to make a sign. You're not able, you're there to authenticate you are you, right? You are not there to hold you hand you the check. You are not there to provide all the information that there. So it became a very challenging for us to how do I replicate the offline experience of people buying the scooters, and and in the online setting and still make it seamless? Like, how do I not say daunt the users with all the informations that we need? So that was a very, very interesting and crucial part of us. Like the customer experience has to be great.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time, me, and I was fortunate to work with few very, very intelligent product managers. And we together built a very awesome product journey, like right from the purchase to the payment to the scooter delivery. It was a very, very interesting journey and a lot of moving parts in there. Because in e-commerce, like just imagine that you're buying something on Amazon, right? What would you do? You would go search for it, you will select, and you will pay for it. That's your exposure
Yeah.
to e-commerce, right? But what happens in the background is that now this order is there. This order goes to the seller who plans to sell this thing. Now it's the seller's responsibility to prepare, to pack, to send this thing to the user, and
Yes.
everything is on the seller. Now that is simple. You don't need any bank authorization. You don't need any government rule, regulation, etc. Now this is in itself is very complex. Like think of like Amazon already has like thousand and thousand product managers just to
Yeah.
manage this thing. Now think of the same thing, like you go on, you want to purchase a scooter, you purchase a scooter, you select, okay, I'm gonna buy this thing. Now it's not a 100 rupee thing or 500 rupees thing, it's a 1 lakh thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now how do I make sure the users are convinced enough to make that purchase, right? How do I not deter them from like giving me the information and making that purchase? So that was very interesting point. Now the user will come, see the vehicle, and fill in certain information. Now, what information do we take in the beginning itself? It's very important
Yeah.
because that information is crucial for me to for me to follow the process after the purchase.
Yeah.
But if I ask too many information, users are gonna go. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
So the users will, okay, say for example, okay, they say, okay, I asked 5 information. They say, now they see a whole lot of information because scooter purchase is not as simple as that you're buying some say phone or something which has one specification. Scooter has your charger, scooter has your insurance attached to it, scooter has your accessories attached to it in a different and everything else is moving. Like you choose this and this happens, you choose this happens. So there are so many variables.
Yes. Yes.
Now how do I show those variables without confusing the users? Because the more the options, the more the information I'm putting in front of the user, more
Yeah.
I'm confusing the user. So we need to be very selective about like what do I show and what can I not show. All
Yeah.
those information. Now convinced user is convinced, okay, I'm gonna buy this thing. Now it's 1 lakh some thousand rupees. How the user would pay? Not everybody would have that cash and or say handy amount in their credit or debit card. Somebody would have, but not everybody. Like so, we were building for whole India. That was very revolutionary concept that we were directly going to customers.
Yeah.
It was the first D2C scooter selling for India. Like nobody was selling it earlier.
Wow.
So that made this even complex because we didn't have any precedence. Like this is how
Yeah.
things happen. So everything was like we had to experiment, see what works and what doesn't work. We couldn't draw any patterns. So now the user is gonna pay. User is gonna say pay. Most of the time, the experience is user will go for financing if it goes more than say 1 lakh or so. They go for financing. Now, financing itself is a web. Think about like as soon as you see here financing, there's so many paperwork, so many
Yes.
authorization. So while we were building this thing, we were building a fintech thing in itself. Like, how do I convince the bank, send the data in the real time, get the EMI options them in the real time.
Yes.
And then if the user chooses that, how do I disperse that option? How do I select that option? How do I send the user's information to the banks and saying that, okay, this user is opting for this thing? Everything has to happen within seconds.
Yeah.
And you know, it is not simple to get the response. Sometimes servers are down, this is down, etc., etc. So this entire thing is marred with lot of fluctuations. And on top of that, it's not a straightforward journey altogether. So from our app, we have to go to a central authority. Now, central authority will give me certain information that I will pass out to the banks. Now, the banks
Yeah.
will give me certain information. So it's a multiple hops altogether.
Yeah.
So initially when we launched, it was very difficult to like people were not able to opt for
Yeah.
the financing option because it was very tedious. But we improved it over time, and I think last I heard 60% of the vehicles were financed as against to like 5% or 10% when we launched. So
Wow.
that has significantly improved. But India's digital infrastructure, trust me, is so good as compared to Western countries. It is
Yeah.
relatively very easy for us to do something in fintech as compared to other countries. So that helped us a lot.
Yeah.
So payment infrastructure, digital infrastructure. Now there is a concept of KYC, like so you are taking money, and now that money is not small. So now the concept of KYC, trust me, it is a whole myriad of problem.
Yeah.
Now going through different loops, different functions. So very, I would say now the user is not seeing this thing. Everything is happening in the background. What user wants, I have paid you the money. Now give me the scooter, right? It
Yeah.
is as simple as that. I don't care about like you have to talk to bank, you have to talk to regulatory authority. That's your job. Dude, I
Yeah.
paid you.
Yeah.
And we wanted that experience to be there for them. Like it should
Yeah.
be as simple because that's the experience. Like somebody goes to the shop, makes the payment, and the scooter is with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do I make it? So we kept on optimizing that back end part, like how do I do this thing, etc., etc. And we wanted to deliver this scooter to the even remotest part of India. Like there are orders from Zorhat, Assam, there are orders from Leh, Ladakh, all across. How do I build this delivery network altogether? That was massive.